Hello, everyone. Welcome to today's Lunch and Learn. While we're waiting for everyone to join, please just share a little bit about yourself, your business, and where you're tuning in from in the chat because we'd love to know more about who's joining us today. Wonderful. I can see people flooding in, so let's just get started. So, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to today's Lunch and Learn webinar. My name is Emily, and I'm a marketing manager here at Enterprise Nation. For those of you who are joining us for Lunch and Learn for the first time, Enterprise Nation is a vibrant community platform for startups and small businesses. Today, I am very pleased to introduce Karen McFadden, who is the founder of Money Insights. In this session, Karen will share how she's raised funding from scratch and the exact strategy she now passes on to her members. If you do have any questions for Karen throughout the webinar, please just pop them in the chat or the Q&A function, and we'll do our best to answer them at the end of the session. Today's webinar is being recorded, and that recording will be sent to you in a follow-up email later today alongside further resources. So without further ado, I'll now hand over to you, Karen.
Thanks so much, Emily. Hi, good morning, everyone, or afternoon, actually. I would love for you also to pop in the chat. When you think of money in business and business finances and growing and all that wonderful world, when it comes to money, what keeps you up at night? That would be really useful for me to get an idea of, what do you struggle with? Is it knowledge? Is it finding money? Is it understanding the intelligence around it or the opportunities around it? What keeps you up at night? So that would be great. And then Emily can bring that to me after. So sure, I'm just going to share my slides just now. So give me just a quick moment. And we'll get started. So, giving you a recap already. That's not good. All right, I'm going to slide show this. So Emily, if you could just let me know that it is coming up all right, the full screen, that would be super.
Yes, I can currently see your screen, but not full screen. Might take a second. There we go, full screen.
Do you know what? No, I just clicked. I'll redo it because I just clicked one thing. So
yeah, that's perfect.
Super. Okay, brilliant. Well, hi everyone. Today we are going to talk about money and the world of business finances. So I will try and keep this as light as possible. I am not an accountant and I am not a financial advisor. So I will try and keep it as fun as possible. And also it is, I do need to note that I am a nice Karen. So I won't be asking for any managers today. But my topic is all about finding funding. And as a solopreneur myself, I'm going to talk you through a bit about my journey and what I do and what I share with my members. And hopefully you walk away with a few snippets of advice and help. So we're here today to obviously learn about money. Now, in the world of business, you tend to find that there's maybe two sides to an entrepreneur. You've got one who has an idea and they're really, really great at executing that idea. And you've maybe got the other one who knows all about money and business sense and maximizing that idea. But very rarely do you find an entrepreneur or a company that aces in both sides of things. And unfortunately, when it comes to running a business, money it all comes back to money. It is key in building. And when I say money, I'm talking about all aspects of it. So making it yourself, saving it through initiatives or business builds, raising it through investment, winning it in grants. There's a whole host of money topics that you will come across. And really what I'm trying to do with entrepreneurs and businesses in general is I'm trying to help them improve their financial intelligence so that they stop missing out on opportunities that are literally passing them by and they're sitting under their nose. So we'll go into 6 different areas, and these are things that I've experienced myself, and they'll become a wee bit more apparent as we go. So I thought before we go into the 6 of them, it would be useful for you to understand a little bit about Money Insights and what I do, just so that it kind of resonates with you. So the first thing you'll ask is, well, what is Money Insights? And basically, we are a business membership community, and we focus on money. So all of our insights that we share with our members are centered around money. Guess where we got the name from? And on the right-hand side, you can see what an example of an insight could be. So it could be around grants or tax incentives or reclaims or growth hacks or whatever it may be, but it all comes back to money. And basically, we do that through offering a financial matchmaking service. And our target market is UK startups and SMEs for the time being. Now, we're different as a matchmaker because we're building Mimi. Now, Mimi stands for the Money Insights Matchmaking Initiative, MIMI. And basically, what Mimi is going to do is she will become our smart little recommendation engine. So, when you look at Tinder or Bumble or eHarmony, whatever floats your boat, those dating worlds, they took technology to a new level. You know, technology disrupted the dating industry and it disrupted romance. And that is what I'm trying to do for business finance. I'm trying to take technology into it so that when opportunities around money present themselves, you're not missing out on them. You're connected to Mimi, you talk with her regularly, and she goes off and does the hunting on your behalf and she makes the matches for you. Now, I began this journey, well, I've been self-employed for 5 years plus, but the journey with Money Insights was launched in December just last year, so about 5 months. And we already have over 50 members who have joined our early adopters trial. And the money matches that we've created are roughly about £2 million in value. And so you can see again on the right-hand side there, that £2 million is made up of a variety of things. So it could be someone was introduced to a grant opportunity, someone was introduced to a tax rebate opportunity, lots of different faces. So that's just a quick overview of Money Insights and myself and what I'm looking to build. I'm at the very early stages of building Mimi, and she will use a bit of a bit of AI and a bit of software that's already existing. But it's exciting times, and I'm really excited to see what she can do to disrupt the finance world. But I did promise you 6 areas that we were going to talk about today. So let's obviously start with the most exciting one, which is free money. Okay, so this is, if I'm in your shoes, which I am, I'm looking to see where can I get free money from for my business. Now, ultimately, local government grants, they're basically money that comes from local councils. So it could be funding bodies, it could be specific funding parties that are particular to England or particular to Scotland. I'm based in Scotland here. But it's local money that is available for local entrepreneurship. And really, when you apply to these these opportunities, the money isn't for one certain thing. You know, it can help with if you're needing to buy a new laptop for the business, if you're needing help with marketing or getting your message right. But unfortunately, because it's not really talked about a huge amount, it kind of goes unnoticed or underapplied. And so, my first urge would be for you to get in touch with your local funding bodies, your local councils, to basically say, listen, I'm an entrepreneur. What available help is there for me from a financial standpoint? So just a wee example, I mean, certainly here in Glasgow, we've got business gateway support. That's in Scotland. There's from £500 up to £2,500 available for startups here. You've got Digital Boost, Scottish Enterprise, you've got British Business Bank connections. Now, I will talk about them as we go, but all of these contacts, their sole purpose is to help their economies thrive. So they need people like you to approach them to say, here I am, this is my idea, this is what I need funding for, how can you help me? Okay, so that's what I would advise you to do in the first instance. The second area is funding programs that help you make your own money. So look, at the end of the day, it would be wonderful to go to someone and say, look, I need £100,000. Can you help me, raise that, or can you give that to me? But in an ideal world, that's not always going to happen. So you have to understand how can you take your idea, grow that, nurture that, and actually get some traction by making your own money. Because guess what? Investors love that. They love if you have the financial intelligence to go out there and make your own money in the first instance. Now, there are funded programs that can help you do that. This is publicly funded money that is put towards programs that bring experts and mentors to you so that you don't have to go out and find these people or spend money on them yourself. The whole point of the program is literally here. So it might be I'll give you a few examples. It could be a program that's specifically for female funders. So this was one that I attended at the start of the year called Women Can Grow. It was a 9-week program, and it went through everything from knowing your idea, knowing your target market, getting your messaging right, all the way through to understanding cash flow and finances, to then understanding your storytelling and your pitch. And I actually went on to win the best pitch at the end of that program, and I won £500. So that was just an idea, and that was so useful for me to be part of this ecosystem where that was funded. I go along every Wednesday and I get to embrace the knowledge and the experts put in front of me. And I could then take that idea and go out, and that's what helped me build my first 50 members. So there's lots of different funding programs in your area. Tech Scaler is another one that I'm now part of also. Now, I mentioned I'm not an accountant or a financial advisor. I also am not a tech guru, sorry. Even though I'm building a tech product. And you may find that that's actually quite common, that that's not your forte. And so there are government programs out there that you can embrace that basically say this is for non-tech founders that are building a tech product. And again, it's help there available to you. So the bonus here is obviously by attending these programs, it just helps you feel a little less lost. It gives you the confidence and the nourishment to take your idea and actually put it into the real world. It gives you that kind of first steps, almost like a dummy's guide to how do I run a business. How do I get an idea off the ground? That's what it really helped me do. And like I said, investors will absolutely love it if you've went out and done this in the first instance. In fact, it's pretty mandatory for you to do this and at least get an idea of feedback and market research. Okay, number 3 is funding competitions. So this is another area that I would encourage everyone on the call to embrace as much as possible. At the end of the day, the UK government does want startups, entrepreneurs, tech-focused companies, they want you to thrive, okay? Because if you have the idea that's going to be the next big thing, well, they want to give you the money for that. My world is all about matchmaking, and I always say to everyone I come across, look, you're in a position where you're looking for funds or you're looking for money. There are plenty of people out there that have money and they're looking for the idea. And it's about bringing you both together. And it does come down to you understanding what competitions are available and how can you apply for them. So a little example here would be, these are competitions typically where you don't have to pay the money back. It would be grants, but you might find that there are some that have a sort of split loan versus grant opportunity, like Edge. A lot of them you don't need, a full pitch deck up front. You don't need to have a full business plan at the ready, because a lot of these competitions come up with their own application formats. And with the help of ChatGPT nowadays, and Gemini and all the other ones, obviously don't just do a copy and paste, put your own words into it, but these tools are fantastic to really helping you get your message across within the word count that these competitions need. So a few examples would be up here in Scotland, we have something called Scottish Edge, and the top prize is actually up to 150k, but when I'd done this, it's 100. And that was a split between 70% loan and 30% grant. But what I really embraced here was the PR with it. I actually applied for this and got through to the semi-finals, which I'll touch on later on. But that was a fantastic opportunity for me as a completely newbie to this space. I'm sure you've all seen the Enterprise Nation Small Business Big Break competition that was out. So that was one that I also applied for. Emily, hint, hint, nudge, nudge. If there's any insider knowledge you have there, let me know. And another example that I shared recently with my members is the NatWest Accelerator pitch. So this is £100,000 it's up for grab, and the highest part of that was 70k. So I think there was a top prize 70, second prize 20, and then third prize 10k. And this is literally, NatWest saying, look, we've got 100 grand, we want to give away, pitches. Give us your ideas, and let's see if we can get some money to you. The fourth one, so loans and private investment opportunities. Now, obviously, this is where you've possibly got this business plan, and you've sat down, you've done your course, you've done your programs, and you go, right, Karen, I'm in a position now where I need to raise £200,000, because that 200k is going to go to, you know, an MVP, so a minimal viable product with a software developer. I'm also going to put some money towards hiring 2 members of staff, one in the tech and one in sales. And I'm also going to put some money towards commercialization, you know, sponsorships or funding or whatever you're looking to do. If that's the case, then yes, you will need some sort of investment. So you can go to investors, or you can go and take the money out yourself from a bank. Now, just a wee, well, a bit of, I can't really give you advice. I can say what I've done. I would suggest that at the beginning, as a startup, you sometimes think, right, here's my business plan and I need £200,000 to go and do this. Oh my goodness, where am I going to find this money? What I would advise you to do is, before you spend big on your idea, you really, really want to get some sort of traction to make sure that what you're trying to build, people are responding to. And when I say people, I mean your target audience. Okay. So you might find that actually, in order to get that, you don't need 200k. You might need £10,000 to actually execute that and get that up and running. Or you might need something as, you know, bigger, 25k, which you can go to British Business Bank for. Or it could even be that you've decided, listen, Karen, you know, I'm building this really sophisticated piece of tech, 10 grand's not going to cut it. I really do need an investor or crowdfunding. Well, you can go to accelerator hubs. You can go to, sorry, I'll bring that up as some examples. You know, if you can't go to the bank, you can go to accelerator hubs, you can go to VCs, venture capitalists, you can go to investors, angel networks, family and friends. And I would urge that by being part of these programs and these funding groups and your local councils, these are the economies that you really want to get into now. These are the ecosystems that you want to find yourself part of. Sign up to their newsletters, go along to their networking events, join their webinars, just like you're doing today. Follow Money Insights, join Money Insights. You know, these are economies that you really, really want to get embedded with, because trust me when I say it is a lonely journey as a solopreneur. It's designed to be that way, unfortunately, but it is up to you. It's a test for you to embed yourself in these networks. And this is where you find the starter cash, whether that's 10 grand or it's 100 grand plus. These are the ecosystems that will help you. So just don't go it alone. Surround yourself with people who have done it before and can guide you. So a really good example of places to go would be accelerator and incubation hubs. So this is typically, again, it's kind of like the programs that I'd mentioned before, Women Can Grow, Tech Scaler. This is money that is put into traditionally banks, I would say, and local government bodies. But yeah, these are places you can go and you can be part of these ecosystems. So even Enterprise Nation, you know, they are an example of a accelerator hub as well, where they have the mentors and they've got the connections, and that's why we complement one another so well, because that matchmaking vibe is there too. But just in case you're wondering, you know, RBS Accelerator, Barclays Ego Labs, NatWest Accelerator, they're open to all sectors. You don't have to be curing cancer. You don't have to be building the next best, you know, piece of NASA rocket ship. These are hubs and environments you can take your idea to it and say, listen, I am opening up a bubble tea stall. I've got my cafe, I've got my area. I need help with looking at premises, or I need help looking at contracts, or I need help with getting an NDA together because I'm working on some sort of magic formula recipe. You know, the conversations are endless, and these are the people that can help you then. And then these are the people that can help put you in touch with the investors as well, once you've got that plan in place. And I have sort of touched upon it, the partnerships and the communities. But one thing that I am going through currently at the moment is actually some match funding opportunities. So this is where, if you have an idea, and again, this is an example of, sure, to build Mimi, I will need hundreds of thousands of pounds as time goes on. But for right now, to just test the validity of Mimi with my members and with, you know, people that aren't members, I basically need to raise £30,000. And Scottish Enterprise, so local to myself up here in Scotland, they offer a match funding opportunity for a feasibility study. So I've went to them and I've used my mentor at Business Gateway, and I've said, listen, I need 30 grand. How am I going to do that? And the opportunity on the table is if I can raise 15,000 myself, then Scottish Enterprise will match fund that. So they'll put in 15,000 as well. So all of a sudden now, going back to my previous example, I don't need 30,000 anymore. I only need 15. So straight away, that's 50% of risk taken off my shoulders, taken off my table. And of course, there's a few things I have to do to go ahead and be approved that 15,000, but that's an opportunity that I'm going through at the moment. And, that's a big help for me. That kind of keeps the risk low for me. Crowdfunder match initiatives. This is something that, again, if you have a product that you're developing, you could go out there and crowdfund. Ask 1,000 people to donate £50 to your startup, and they get to be the first ones to get your product when you launch it, or they get to be the first ones to have a 50% discount. These are conversations that you can have with these experts, and they can help you execute that idea. And before you know it, you've raised £5,000, and that £5,000 is now going to go towards a storytelling brand awareness journey that's going to help you get out to 10,000 perfect audience members. So these are the conversations that you can have with these communities, with these partnerships, and Money Insights. We have contacts to all of them, and this is what we discuss in our insights and through our members hub. So those are the 6 areas. I'm just going to talk you through very quickly a bit of my personal journey, because we are at 12:20, and I did promise this was going to be short and sweet. But yeah, I'll kind of bring them up one by one. I won't go through every single one of them. I'll highlight a few nice ones. But I basically made my first revenue through matchmaking. So before I launched Money Insights in December, I've made a career of saying, "Hi, John, you should speak to Jim. You two should do business together, and Jim's going to give me a cut behind the scenes because I made that successful introduction." And I made commission. I've made finder's fees, commissions, whatever you want to call it. That's how I would make a living. And so I took some of my commission and I reinvested that into my website and working with my developer. I also obviously joined the Women Can Grow programme that I've talked on. I featured on Go Radio up here in Scotland, and I'm not sure if anyone else here on the call is from Scotland, but you may know Sir Tom Hunter and Lord Willie Hawkey. They're kind of Scottish legends in the business space, and I was invited on their podcast to talk about financial intelligence in Scotland and how important it is to a thriving economy. So that was a fantastic opportunity. And I would urge everybody on this call, as a startup, get yourselves out there as much as you possibly can. Go on talk shows, go on radio, get into free articles, write blogs, do collaborative networking events, whatever it takes, get yourselves talked about within these ecosystems, because this is where you'll start to get noticed. I was a semi-finalist in Scottish Edge, and that's then kind of helped me get applying for a new application called Pathways to Scale. This is a female-funded initiative in Scotland, and there's £50 million that's put by to help female founders get their ideas moving and scaling. And there's an opportunity for me to apply for a 20k grant there as well. So I've just finished the application, and keep your fingers crossed that we got approved. So there are a few more here. I can certainly say to Emily, I can pass the slides round, or you can, watch the recording after. But here's the point that's really interesting just now. So at the moment, I'm going through this raising opportunity where I need to find £30,000 to build Mimi. So I have a wonderful mum who has generously offered me some money. So she is my first angel investor. And these are all terminologies that will come on your table over the next few months. So I've put in some of my savings. My mum's given me some personal finances. Together, that's made up the 15,000. And that's what I take to Scottish Enterprise to say, right, I've done my half, you need to do yours. And I will give you a bit of advice, folks. Any government public funding that has been awarded to you, it's not like it's just money that goes in your bank. Okay, it's not like they just go, there you go, Karen, there's 15 grand. I have to basically start spending the money that me and mum put together. And as I spend that, Scottish Enterprise will give me half of it back. So essentially, I do need to spend the money first and then get the money back from Enterprise. So just bear that in mind for any grants you win or things like that. And yeah, so there's lots of things, that I'm still exploring. I'm still growing my revenue through memberships and through partner commissions. Because if you imagine at the beginning, when I mentioned, £2 million had been in money matches have been made behind the scenes, Money Insights will be making some commissions off those matches. So I'm still going out there and I'm still making my own money. I'm still generating the ideas and the revenue myself, but it's minuscule in regards to what I need to build. And so that's where my funding journey is in its infancy. But it's just to kind of highlight to you that I'm in a very similar position to you. But I am building Money Insights because money is just too damn complicated to learn about by yourself. There's so many opportunities around it. There's so many avenues to consider. We are all at the very early stages and we don't have, those finance teams. We don't have the top 4 accountants working with us. So it is up to us to just keep an eye on these opportunities so that we don't let them pass us by. And this is the whole point of building Money Insights. It's really to make money easy for you. So just a quick overview. We've touched on the local and government grants. We've touched on the funding expert programs that you can enjoy. We've looked at funding competitions, loans and private investment opportunities. We've got accelerator hubs, and then, of course, match funding and strategic partnerships. And again, this is the world that I am in. This is the stuff that I talk about and the matches that I make. So this is just to show you that I'm running an early adopters trial at the moment. My advice would be, this isn't me pitching you to say, please, I'm begging you, join Money Insights and please give me some money. This is me saying, if anything you've heard in the last 25 minutes has resonated with you, if money is overwhelming and if being part of an ecosystem that can help you just stay on top of opportunities, if that sounds interesting and appealing to you, I would urge you to be part of Money Insights because it's a really simple solution for you to embed yourself with. And, it's not going to take you going out there and having to find all this money by yourself and feeling really overwhelmed. So that would be the advice that I would give you at the end of this. Certainly, I am an advisor on Enterprise Nation, so please do feel free to connect on there. I'm on LinkedIn. Ping over your questions as and when. But I would suggest, me being a solopreneur myself, I'm building Mimi because I wish that Mimi existed 5 months ago. In fact, I wish Mimi existed 5 years ago because there's so much opportunities around money that I've missed, and I don't want that for you guys moving forward. So that is me done. Thank you so much for your time. I'll stop sharing. And
Amazing.
there have been a number of things coming in. So Emily, I'll let you kind of decipher through things.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Karen. That was a great whirlwind tour of everything funding. You've got amazing feedback coming in the chat of everyone saying it. Thank you so much. I've popped links in the chat for everyone to connect with Karen on Enterprise Nation or LinkedIn and to check out Money Insights. So do go and check out all those links. There was a few questions coming in as we were going along. The main one being, who can people contact at their council? So where do they go to find the person that can give them advice about grants in their area?
Oh, I mean, it's a great question because it can get quite convoluted. And it really is as easy as just going to the council website and suggest there should be a funding area on local council websites, find me funding or government funding. If there's not, then simply going to the customer services and saying, what department do I talk to? Or even calling up your local council and saying to the customer services person, hi, I'm a founder, a solopreneur, a business owner. Can you pass me through to the department, most relevant to me? And they will help you. There's departments for this stuff. If you're based in Scotland, then we do have Business Gateway and Scottish Enterprise, and these are public funded bodies and support systems that you can have a mentor from. So, I mean, I work with a mentor at Business Gateway, and he's my go-to. He's almost like, a big brother kind of thing. And, I go to him and I brain dump everything I'm working on. I brain dump, who I need to speak to, what I'm looking for. And he is paid by the council to assist me. His job is to help me in any means and ways possible to progress my business. And this is how we've got into the match funding opportunity. So I would say if you're Scotland based, look at Business Gateway and Scottish Enterprise. If you're England based, I would look at local sort of LEPs, partnership, enterprise partnerships, and certainly getting in touch with local councils and British Business Bank. I would contact them because they're very well connected with councils also.
Amazing. Thank you. The second most asked question was, I missed that. Can we see the slides? Can we see the recording? Don't worry, it has been recorded and you'll all be sent the recording later today so you can recap any insights that you might have missed. And we've got time for just one more question before we all have to jump off. Is someone asked, can you apply for loans funding all of this if you've got bad credit?
Yeah, look, it's a question that will come up, and for to answer it in a minute, it might be quite short. But there's plenty of people you can speak to for help and advice on it, and mentors through these accelerator programs. And in terms of an investor looking to put money into you, even if you've got bad credit or bad history, it really does come back to that traction. How have you went out there and validated that there's a market for this? How have you went out and convinced people to spend money on you? And if you've managed to do that, it's because they believe that you're offering them a solution. So an investor wants to see that, regardless of what you've done in the past. If you have a solution there that's going to make them money, well, there's plenty of people that will look around that, under it, through it.
Perfect. Thank you very much. I'm afraid that's all we've got time for, but if you have any further questions, I'm sure that Karen will be able to help you by heading to Money Insights or LinkedIn or Enterprise Nation. Those links are in the chat. And as mentioned before, you will be sent a recording so you can watch this again. But huge thank you to Karen for joining us today and sharing all of your experience and knowledge on funding. And thank you to all of our attendees for joining and being so active in the chat. And I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your Monday and the rest of your week.
Emily, I wonder, when you kind of finish this call, is there a transcript that comes with it? Because I'm sure there's at the beginning of this chat. I'd love to see what keeps them up at night.
Yes, I can share that transcript. There was lots of responses. Only one person said that they weren't kept up at night.
Well, listen, I want the pillow. Name of your pillow.
Amazing.
Thanks so
Thank you
much for
very
your
much,
time.
Karen.
Thank you, everyone.
Thanks,
Bye bye.
everyone. Bye.